Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest-growing boutique cigar companies, provides smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of the perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pelayo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the quality and construction that he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran signature line, Azan, Nea, and Baracoa. Duran uses a seed to humidor approach, as all of their tobacco is grown in their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Premium Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard.
Hey, Paul, what's up?
What's up, Mark?
Did you hear about the new cigar that's coming out?
Which one is that? There's like 800 new ones every week.
The one with the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper.
Oh, really? I love Connecticut broadleaf. Who makes it?
I think it's Nicaraguan.
So Nicaraguan binder and filler, or it's made in a factory in Nicaragua?
I always have to Google these, and it's taken me like an hour to find out what it is.
If this is a frequent conversation with your cigar buddies, look no further than Stogie Geeks News, the only cigar news podcast on the internet. Will Cooper, the man behind cigar-coop.com, and Paul Asadorian from the Stogie Geeks produce a weekly show covering the latest cigar news, new blends, cigar manufacturer announcements, and more. Subscribe to the video version on YouTube, or get the audio version in your favorite podcast catcher. Head on over to stogienews.tv to subscribe today. Saga Cigars, makers of the Saga Golden Age. The Golden Age is a cigar that takes you back to the classic days of cigar smoking. Through the 6 generations of experience by the Reyes family, Saga Golden Age delivers a timeless blend that uses the nobility of the tobacco to bring you the perfect balance of power and flavor. It narrates better than words the history of a family's tradition in tobacco, delivering a cigar much like the ones they used to smoke in the times of Hemingway. Saga Golden Age is a full-bodied, full-flavored Dominican Puro. With tobaccos from one farm, the blend features a Corojo 2006 wrapper and filler from original Cuban seeds grown in the Dominican Republic. Available in 4 sizes at an affordable price, the Saga Golden Age is sure to please and take you back on a journey to yesteryear. Rocky Patel Premium Cigars. The sun-grown Maduro is hand-rolled at Rocky Patel's boutique factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. This triple-capped, hand-bunched, and hand-rolled cigar is accompanied by a gorgeous broadleaf wrapper. Well-balanced, rich, and decadent, it truly is a great addition to any humidor and worthy of the long-respected sun-grown name. For more information, visit them on the web at rockypatel.com and be sure to follow Rocky Patel Premium Cigars on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
When we review or report on something, we don't want there to be any guesswork. We believe the information must be accurate, and it has to be reliable. For what we review, the goal is hopefully to educate our audience, and at the same time, an equally important goal is in turn to get educated ourselves. What we want to do is earn the trust of our audience, and to do that, we ensure what we report is accurate, rumor-free, and teaser-free. The premium cigar industry is so dynamic, and every day brings something new. We wanted Cigar Coop to be an extension of that experience, so it has to be 365 days a year. We wanted to create a true media ecosystem and integrate Cigar Coop with the power of our Stogie Geeks programming network. Welcome back to the Stogie Geeks Show. This is episode 213 for this Monday, December 12th, 2016. Again, a happy 101st birthday to the one and only Frank Sinatra. I'll be playing some Sinatra music after the show tonight in the garage. Will Cooper actually in Studio C in North Carolina. We have Mark, Riley, and Tyler manning the controls at the Villiger North America Studios in Rhode Island. A programming note, next week, Miguel Chodel is our special guest. We're actually going to have have Ben back, I think, with Paul next week, too. So it should be pretty good to have us as well. And Ben, that's still the case, right?
Yes, it is.
Awesome, man. We appreciate it. And we'll have Jason back for sure as well. So I want to thank Jason Loyce and Ben Lee. That was a very fun segment we had last time. I think we're going to have another great segment as we go into really the staple of Stogie Geeks, which is the Stogies of the Week segment. I think we're the podcast that's been doing this for 5 years. I think but like 2 episodes, we didn't do a Stogies of the Week. And it's basically, you could say Stogies of the Week, but it's what we've been smoking whenever. And we just kind of talk about it. I'll kind of, I'll kind of kick this one off this week just to kind of set the table. But I actually smoked a cigar called, I smoked the My Father Limited Edition 2015 5th anniversary. And this is, My Father's come out with the LE cigars pretty much every year since 2010. There's been different iterations of them. This one was for the 5 years of the LE series, and they all have a couple things in common. They're 6.5 by 52 Toro, and they also have Pelo de Oro. This one was kind of a little special. This cigar because it was given to me. A box of these was given to me by my future son-in-law the day him and my daughter got married, which was kind of I thought it was a symbolic gesture. With the whole My Father theme and everything. It was very, very nice. I've had these aging for a year, and I actually decided to break into them and do some review on them. And what I'll say about this cigar, it actually needed some age when I first got them. I thought this cigar, and I think Ben and I have talked a lot about this, how sometimes this cigar, and Paul as well, how we do need to age a cigar. So I think this cigar had really needed some time to come around. I kind of suspected it would because they've done a really good job, My Father, with these cigars. And with this cigar, it was definitely the case. The blend uses an Ecuadorian Habano, what they call Rosado Oscuro wrapper, over a double Nicaraguan binder and Nicaraguan filler. This is a 6.5 by 52. It's a coffin release. This was a cigar that had a lot of complexity to it. It's right out of the gate, you're going to get a potpourri kind of flavors, and you're going to get some good orange notes, some caramel notes. If you like a cigar, it's going to change up a lot. I think you're going to like this cigar. The only knock I have on this cigar, the Pelo de Oro tends to produce a lot of sweetness from it. It had a little too much sweetness, I think, for my liking, but that's not a bad thing. It wasn't that it was a bad cigar. I usually like the sweetness toned down a little more in my cigar, but it was an excellent cigar. I think the time did very well on this cigar, and if you're going to pick up these, I'd recommend it, and it's definitely worthy of getting a box split of these. They're not cheap. They're $23, so they are a special occasion cigar, but I'd say, box split of them, keeping a few of these coffins in your humidor is great. Ben, we'll go to you next.
One cigar that I've had, I pretty much have it almost close to every day. At least every time I go to the smoke ring, the little shop near my house. It's the Warp Lirio Rojo. Now, I've called it the Warp Cabinet forever because it comes in a 50-count box that's unbanded. But it's made at Casa Fernandez of all Aganorsa leaf. So it's a Nicaraguan puro. It's all Aganorsa stuff. And it's a beautiful 4-bat. It's a 5.5 by 52 Corona, which is one of my favorite sizes. I love smaller ring gauge cigars. And I used to go in there and I have it because, like I said, I talked about their coffee. They have that amazing coffee they have at that shop. And it goes amazingly well with it. So I go there and buy it every time. But it just has like a little nice like white pepper spice note with it, along with like a little bit of milk chocolate note and some hazelnuts. It's just a really tasty smoke, really good smoke. It's one that I try to get in there every time when I go in there. I buy that cigar and it's medium bodied, so it's good, pretty much anytime, day or night. It's just a really, really tasty smoke. But I've kind of been on a warp kick, since I moved to Houston, get them real easy. And that's one I always seem to pick up, but really tasty cigar. I really love that one.
I haven't reviewed it, I did pick that cigar up in that store I was talking about where Hector and Jack hang out, Caribbean Cigar. I thought it was a great cigar. I agree with you. It was one of Seth was raving about that cigar for a long time as well, and I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it quite a bit. I kind of wish it was. It's a more limited release from what I understand, so it's not available. It went to more of the select retailers from what I understand.
Yeah, it went to people that basically have a lot of warp. They're able to get that cigar, but yeah, it is limited, and from what I understand, we interviewed Kyle at IPCPR. It's not meant to be limited on purpose because it uses some really really good tobacco, and basically they just make enough until they run out of tobacco, and then they're done until they get another batch in, and they make as much as they can. So, it's limited, and they do that with a few things at Warped, but they make as much as they can. They're not trying to limit it on purpose, and it's not meant to be limited. It's just whatever the amount of tobacco they have on hand is, that's what they can make. So, and I think they just a new batch started to come out lately. So, like both Sirius and Smoke Ring in Houston, where I'm at, both have them right now. So, I try to get them every time I go in there.
Yeah. From when I was gotten to know folks who've had cigars made from Casa Fernandez and from talking to Paul Palmer, from what I understand, Casa Fernandez is really good at allocating some of these tobaccos to the up-and-coming brands. But pretty much they cap it. So, hey, we'll give you this, but this is all you're going to get from that particular. And I know that's the case with like Warp's, the Florida Valley Skyflower, which is using that Medio Tiempo. But that's what I understand they do is they'll make it available, but this is all you're going to get for a particular year. And once it's gone, it's gone. Nice. They're not going to try to cut quality and slam something else in there. Jason, what you got?
I have never been apologetic about what I smoke, and I've for the longest time been a huge Tatuaje and Pete Johnson fan. Everything that he seems to touch pretty much turns to gold. I'm a big component of the Kohonu. The 2012, the broadleaf is my favorite. There's 3 different blends in that line, but the broadleaf is my favorite. That 6 and I believe 1/4 soft box press, and I just think the sweetness and the spice of that cigar is just something that I really gravitate to. It just hits my palate well, just like Jack was saying in our earlier segment. Some of those cigars hit your palate really well. And that's one. And I've been sitting on a box of those for quite some time, and have actually been recently pulling those guys out. And man, I tell you what, that cigar to me, for my personal palate, is fantastic. What do you think about that, Will? You like that cigar?
Yeah, you had me just thinking on that. I do, and there were three varietals of that. There was a broadleaf, a Sumatra, and a Habano that came out. Mm-hmm. And I did really like that broadleaf a lot. I remember when those first hit the stores, what they did with the Sumatra and the broadleaf is they actually they had a limited edition package which was in the form of a book. Yeah. And yeah, it was very limited. They did one run of those packages before they eventually just put it into the cabinet boxes that they normally have, and then they added the Habano later that year. I can't believe it's 4 years since that cigar came out. Is all as you were talking about it, Mike. You said 2012, which was the year it was released. I just can't believe it's 4 years already with that cigar.
Yeah, that cigar is fantastic, but unfortunately, Pete likes to come. Them pronounced correctly, so you get real fun pronunciations of the Kohonu.
Oh yeah. I probably butchered it more than on one occasion, to say the least. Yeah, but I agree. And I go back and forth which is my favorite between the broadleaf and the Habano. With that one is what I tend to go back with, and I think some of the broadleafs lately that I've seen from Pete, just They kind of haven't been as good as some of those older ones, but yeah, that 2012 one was money. I'm thinking about it. I probably have some in the humidor still from like that year when I got them. All right, I'm gonna. Yep.
The tooth. I mean, the wrapper leaf itself is run.
Yeah, I mean it's a rugged broadleaf. I mean, I think you broke up a little bit. It's a very rugged broadleaf on that thing. It's like a classic Connecticut broadleaf. Which, when I see a rugged broadleaf, it has a lot of charm to it. So I'll kind of go on with the next one here, and this next one is this is one I've smoked a few of these, and they're not cheap. I actually bought a couple of them, and I liked them so much, I went and bought like 5 more of them, which is going to break the Stogie Geeks budget for sure. But it's the Avo 90th. So it's the Avo Classic Covers Volume 4. This was like what Avo's been doing with these Classic Covers series is they're essentially taking tobacco components from other blends and building a whole new blend on it. So they've done this series called Classic Covers. They did a Volume 1, which was based off of the Avo Classic. They did a Volume 2, which was based off the Avo Heritage. And they did a Volume 3, which was based off of the Avo XO. For the Volume 4, they based it off probably one of the more forgotten about blends in the line, which is the Avo Domain. And what they essentially did is they took some of the filler tobaccos and they coated it with a whole other wrapper and binder. And they put it in a nice perfecto, almost like a diadema shape on the thing. It actually looks really, really nice. They packaged the thing in a box that looks like a phonograph that could actually be reused as afterwards as a ashtray. And they actually did that with Volume 3. The blend on this thing is a Habano 2000 Marron wrapper, Ecuadorian Sumatra binder, and then a bunch of Dominican fillers in this thing. Nice cigar. It's not a powerhouse in terms of it's going to be in that Avo medium strength, medium body range. It produces a bit of a chocolate note at times. There's a little bit of you get a little bit of that Davidoff straw note in there. Some cedar and wood are in that note as well. I kind of liked that this was a medium strength, medium bodied cigar. I think it worked extremely well with this. I just thought the cigar for kind of that perfecto shape or that diadema shape, it burned really, really nicely. Like I said, I liked it so much I went and bought a few more of them after my first 2. It's an expensive cigar, so again, it's another price. I definitely smoked some good stuff last week. It was my birthday week, so that's why I did that. But about $18 cigar. But I gave this one a box split as well. If it was a little less pricey, it probably would have been something that is box worthy. But again, $18 a cigar. I splurged for a box split with that, which is kind of what I ended up doing anyway with the amount I bought.
Yeah, I haven't had that one yet. We have it here at the shop, but I haven't had the chance to smoke it yet. But I've heard positive things about it. So
yeah, I'll be honest. I thought Volume 3 was a little bit more of a miss. I liked Volume 1 and Volume 2 a lot. I thought Volume 3 didn't really cut it for me, which was the one based off the XO. But I think this one kind of bounced back, and it's a real. And I think it's going to really age even better. This cigar, it's a good cigar.
Yeah, I'll check that out tomorrow, definitely.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. I think I'm going to have the review on Cigar Coop later this week on that as well. So, but yeah, it's a solid cigar. If you're a Davidoff or Avo fan, definitely check out that cigar. And I think we're up to you, Ben.
Another one I had this week was the Hoyt Monterey Petit Robusto Cuban from its 2015 release. It was pretty good. I'm a real big fan of the Hoyo Cuban line. Pretty much everything they have is really good. This one it was a little bit milder than I probably thought it would be, honestly. But it had some notes of a little bit of cedar, kind of hay notes, a little bit of honey. And it's a short format, so it wasn't that long of a smoke. It wasn't that complex of a smoke, but it's pretty tasty. But I definitely think it needs age. A lot of Cubans need age, but none of the new releases actually coming out now, they're really smokable as they are young even. But this one I think needs a little bit of downtime, maybe about a year to 3 years. It will be an amazing cigar, but it was a little bit light on the palate, so it was pretty good. But I would probably put a box up, but it wasn't nothing to write home about as it was. But still it was tasty. You just need some time, but it was a good cigar.
Yeah, I've had that cigar. I've had mixed experience with it, to be honest with you, and I'm wondering if it is now you're saying it may be more of an age thing that is probably the issue I've had with it.
Yeah,
I see the potential with that cigar. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but usually, because I'm a big, Epicure #2, which is actually, I think was number 9 today on Cigar Aficionado's list. Now that one, that's like a benchmark smoke. I mean, you can get that today and smoke it today. It's good. I mean, of course, if you age it, it's going to be outstanding. But and basically what all the Petit Robusto is a shortened Epicure. So, I mean, I know it has potential, but young, it needs a little bit of time. So if anybody has some, just sit on them. I think it'll be well rewarded later.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with you on that. Like I said, Nat, you're saying it kind of just an aha moment I have. Probably why I've had mixed results with that.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Jason, what you got?
Well, I'm kind of sad to say that I've smoked the last one that I had of this box of Bolivar Bellicoso, obviously Cuban-made cigar. And, man, they were from 2012. Went down to the Dominican and picked these up. And all the way through, I was talking about this Cuban cigar. I'm kind of sad. I'm going to get and sit on a length. There was just the sweetness about that cigar. Fortunately, most of them actually had a nice draw to them. They didn't have to be worked on too much. The balance is fantastic. Like I said, I'm sad to see the last one of those. It's like anything else. They make them every day, so some more.
Yeah, you broke up a little, but there were a couple of points I think I did get out of that. So first of all, you went actually down to the DR and you got that cigar, is what you said, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is, and you hit on it, that cigar's got a sweetness on it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep. The other thing is that cigar's got a great sweetness component to it. When I have that cigar, absolutely, that Bolivar, it's a hands down. It's got some sweet notes, and that's what for a Cuban cigar, the sweet notes just really come through good for me on that cigar.
Yeah, the Bellicoso Fino is actually one of my staples. It's one that ages amazingly well, but it smokes really good, fresh too. It is got a little bit more power than your standard Cuban, but it does have a really good, just an intense flavor profile that I really enjoy. Matter of fact, you just reminded me I'm out of those myself, so let's fix that.
I should have picked some of those up in Cuba. They had them there.
Yeah, they're outstanding. They're another benchmark one, kind of, in the Bellicoso size, that's kind of like the benchmark Bellicoso. So.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I agree on that one. I smoked a very new cigar, or a newer offering, and it may be a little bit of a gimmicky cigar. I mean, I'll be honest with you with the theme of it, but the cigar is called Lucius Lion.
I knew you were going there.
You knew I was going there, huh?
Mm.
Yep, yeah. It was. I don't watch the show Empire, but Lucius Lion is a character on the show Empire, and it looks like that General Cigar has worked out a licensing agreement for a cigar and some accessories. They're actually distributing the cigar not through their sales force, but through another group called Meyer and Dutch, which is basically their distribution arm for Cigars International. It's a light Connecticut shade cigar, Mexican San Andreas Mexican San Andreas binder, Dominican and Nicaraguan filler, 5x50 Toro. Very mild cigar is what I'll say. This is not, if you're looking for strength and body, this cigar is not going to have that. It had some. It's not going to redefine what a Connecticut shade cigar is. So it's very classic, I thought, in terms of cream, citrus, wood, black pepper. I thought the draw was a little looser than I prefer on that cigar, but it didn't cause any combustion issues by smoking it. It's one of these Paul Asadorian, I'll smoke it with morning coffee cigars, which I think if everyone knows, Paul smokes the Connecticut shade, but it's a little bit pricey at $12.50. So in terms of, I didn't get anything really spectacular out of this for a $12.50 cigar. I thought it was a good cigar. I didn't think it was a bad cigar. I think, again, there's some of the marketing and licensing price that's going into that cigar. Much like when we talked about the Sopranos with Jack earlier and how they were able to lower the price with the consigliere after they got rid of some of the licensing. So I think that's what's driving up the price of that cigar. But it was, if you take price out of the equation, you can say it's worthy of a box split. If you kind of factor price in there, it's probably somewhere like a try one or a fiver, because like I said, I think some of the licensing costs are being folded. Not a bad cigar. Again, not a bad cigar. It's just not what I would expect a $12.50 cigar at a Robusto size to be.
I agree, because I got some of those as well, and I'm the same with you. I wasn't expecting much because usually when you attach celebrity status to a cigar or a show or something like that, it's not going to be good. Usually it's not good, but I was pleasantly surprised at this. I thought it was pretty tasty, and I'm the same with Paul. I like smoking lighter body Connecticut shade, my morning coffee. Like one of my go-tos, like a Davidoff 2000. Tells you how late I go, but
right.
That actually goes really well. I mean, I thought it tasted pretty well. I didn't realize it was $12.50. That is pricey, but you're right. I think it goes a lot into that licensing cost. But I was really, and I was like you too. I didn't watch Empire. I don't get to watch a whole lot of TV. I mean, I have a 7-year-old that monopolizes my TV, so I watch a whole lot of SpongeBob and stuff. But I started watching it on Hulu. And now I'm kind of addicted to the show. It's actually really, really good show. Really good show.
Oh, really? But, I haven't seen it. Now I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a great show. I really like it. I'm kind of I've almost caught up to where they're at now. But but the cigar was actually, I was impressed with it. I mean it was for not even for just what it's worth, but maybe because I had low expectations that it
right.
I mean it was tasty. It was really tasty. I wouldn't mind having a lot more of those.
Like I said, it was good. It was just, I didn't think it was $12.50 good, but I agree. It was a tasty cigar, and for what it was, I thought it was a very, like I said, I can see Paul smoking these things a lot.
Yeah, I have a formal review coming up on that one probably in about a week or two, for sure.
I got to check that one out. I got to check the show out now that you're telling me this. I guess it's about, from what I understand, it's about a guy who is he was a rapper that also was a drug dealer, and I guess he used his money to form a record company.
Yeah, it's like a Jay-Z thing is what it is.
Yep. So I think the show's actually on up against Stogie Geeks. That may be wrong. I think it's a Monday night, but you said it's on Hulu?
Yeah, because I don't know. I honestly I don't watch anything when it comes on, either DVR or Hulu or at Netflix. So
Yep, I agree. That's a good point. So I'm gonna have to check that one out. But yeah, folks should check out that Lucius Lion. It's definitely, like I said, it's not a bad cigar. You're gonna be very surprised by it. I think Ben, it's you now. I think we're actually up to you, even though we were just talking about.
yeah, another one that I had this week, and it was actually they have them at I haven't had them until I moved to Houston because my local shops there now they carry this line. It's the Mombacho, and of course they have a lot of social media buzz and stuff, but I really of course started to pay attention more now that our buddy Rob is actually I guess he's the sales manager. I forgot what his title was now.
He's
Rob,
like a brand. I don't know if he's brand and marketing or sales, but he's definitely in a management role there.
Yeah, something with that. So, of course, I've been paying more attention to them. But one I've had that they got in the shop recently just after I paid CPR was their Liga Maestro. And it's, I don't know exactly what size it comes like. It comes like a Corona Gordo, one they call it Gordo, which is a 5x54. And it's got a Habano wrapper, Nicaragua binder filler. And I thought it was a really tasty smoke. I got black pepper, some hickory, and some hickory wood notes with it. Also, as it kind of burned down, it had a sweetness, almost like a sugar kind of a sweetness to it. And it got a little bit in there. I got some nutty flavor out of it too. It probably lower in a full body, but it was really good smoke. Matter of fact, I think I had one last. Yeah, I had one last night as well too, sitting at the shop. But it's a really good smoke, really tasty smoke. It's not really. I mean, it's full bodied, but it's it's not too full where more light medium smokers would enjoy it as well. It was a really tasty cigar. I was really impressed with it. The other one I need to do a full review on it too. I just kind of been smoking them, sitting around at the shop, talking to the guys. But I mean, it was a good cigar. But I think I like it a little bit better in the Corona Gorda side, which is more my size. I mean, I like Corona Gorda line style. That's my type, old traditional sizes. But I like the Corona Gorda a little bit better. It's a little bit more well-rounded and smoother, and a little bit more of that sweetness. Where this one had a little bit more of the kind of like that, more of the pepper, the spices, and a little bit more of that like a hickory note. But it was really outstanding smoke as well. Another good one.
Yeah, that's Tierra Vulcan's their other brand, which I've had hit or miss experience with. Some I've liked better than others, but Liga Maestro, I think that was the cigar they did for Italy, and they eventually, I guess, started releasing it in the U.S. and decided to go regular production with it. And I agree with you on that one as well. That's a nice line.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Wow, the chat room has absolutely been blowing up tonight. Logan says he hates you.
Oh, well, that's okay. I hate him too, so that's okay.
Logan Law from Cigar Federation. Wow. He said, don't even talk about Rob.
No, that's my buddy. My good buddy.
So thanks. I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat room. Logan, Stays, Casey. I saw a lot of people, and I'm leaving people out. Lawrence Miltonberger. Everyone, thanks for being in the chat room tonight. Really, really appreciate all the comments in there. Jason, turn it to you. We may have froze Jason out.
Did we lose him?
We might have lost Jason. His line was struggling. Okay, I'll move on to another one. I got one more cigar, and what that cigar is. This is a cigar that I think it was a limited release, and it's kind of one that flew under the radar with a lot of people. It's have you ever heard of the Ernesto's Humidor #1 series?
No, I haven't.
Okay. It was they released this. This is a big favorite of Paul's. this series. What they did is EP Carrillo in 2015 at the trade show, they came out with this limited editions set called Ernesto's Humidor Number 1. And it basically had 3 blends in it. It had a Connecticut Shade, it had a Colorado, which was a Sumatra blend, and it had a Maduro, which was a Connecticut Broadleaf blend. And Paul and I have been smoking through quite a bit of these over the past year. And he loves that Connecticut. I'm more of the Colorado guy. I actually had not gotten around to smoking the Maduro until recently. The thing that's really cool about these is they're packaged in a commemorative humidor too. And then what Paul told me is that you can actually reorder these sticks too, so it's not one and done, which is nice. And it's got a nice presentation of it as well. I smoked the Maduro, which is the Connecticut Broadleaf version of this. Ernesto's got, when I was reviewing this cigar, Ernesto's got a lot of broadleaf blends on the EP Carrillo over the years. He's got, I counted 11 of them. 9 of them were like released nationally, and 2 of them were shop exclusives. So there's quite a bit of these out there. So, when you go to EP Carrillo Broadleaf, some are going to be different than others. Some are going to be similar. This one was a little more, I'd say it's a little more dialed back for a broadleaf from Ernesto. It's got a lot of classic broadleaf type of flavors. So you're going to get, some of those coffee notes. You're going to get a little bit of that, what I call natural Maduro note, which has a little bit of that fruit, cherry sweetness, just a touch of that. It's very earthy. There's some wood notes in there. It's a medium strength, medium bodied cigar, so it's not going to overpower you by any means. Overall, again, another solid cigar. It's definitely worth a box split of these. I know Paul had this as a box worthy for the Maduro alone, but I kind of was. It wasn't my favorite EP Carrillo Broadleaf. That's still the original Cardinal Maduro. Nothing will touch that in my book. I think that's the best broadleaf Ernesto's done with EPC. But this is a solid one, a little more dialed back, and worth checking out.
Yeah, I definitely have to check that one out because I really am a big fan of their stuff. So that's one I definitely want to check out. And for me, a Maduro, I kind of go back and forth with love-hate with them. But, EP Carrillo cigars, they seem to do Maduro very, very, very well. I've liked their stuff. I've liked almost every cigar they've ever put out, to be honest. I like their lines.
He doesn't have a lot of misses. Did you saw him at the trade show, right?
Yes.
So I mean, they revamped that whole portfolio. I mean, they from top to bottom, everything has changed. Some stuff was just packaging changes, but they also came out with a lot of new blends right now. You should definitely check out, like if you like the Dusk. The Dusk is one you should check out. It's a new broadleaf cigar that they came out with, and it's just fantastic right now. I can see why Jose went there. There's enough stuff that will keep him interested right now, and he could just go out there and preach what he loves to preach, talking cigars, and he's got a whole big portfolio to do that now with EPC.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does with their stable of tobacco. It's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think ultimately they're going to look at Europe if they can't get something out here, but I think they're going to do something together. I can't see him. He's going to want to get his hands dirty in the factory at some point. So even if they go out there and release it to Europe, they'll do that, I would say.
Oh, I think so, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. So, that would be my thought on that. I think Jason's connection may have just died on him, so we'll turn it back over to you. Do you have another? That was my last cigar, by the way.
Yeah, I've got one more. It's actually I've got at least one more. See, I got a Nat Sherman, the Metropolitan Connecticut. Now, they brought in Nat Sherman here, I think, about 3 years ago, and I really hadn't had much Nat Sherman stuff at all. And I kind of didn't really pay attention to nothing they did. But our shop owner here, that was what his grandfather smoked. So he definitely wanted to bring him in. I was like, okay, well, that'd be kind of interesting. I haven't had one, very, very, very long time. And they brought him in. I've been really impressed with most of their line. And one of the ones they brought out that I've really taken a shine to is the Metropolitan line. And they just came out with the Habano edition, which it seems to be like it's the darling of the shop here for sure. But everywhere I go, it seems to be really a hit for everywhere. But one that I smoked here, like I said, I like having a Connecticut with my coffee in the morning. They kind of just match I'm super picky about my Connecticut's. Like I like more sweeter Connecticut's, a little bit more creamier Connecticut's than the ones that are just really woody and stuff. And so I grabbed the Nat Sherman Metropolitan Connecticut in the Corona size, which, like I said, is one of my sizes I love. And it was very, very tasty. It was really tasty. I got a nice oaky woody note on there, some sweet cream. Even had like a vanilla toastiness that reminded me of like vanilla wafers. I don't know if you know like the little vanilla wafers and stuff.
Yep.
Southerner, everybody's had banana pudding when you have the vanilla wafers in there, and so I got that note in there, which I really, really loved. It kind of developed around the first third, the middle of the cigar, and then I started getting a really nice almond note near the back end of that cigar. It was really tasty. I was really impressed with that cigar. That's one I haven't really smoked a whole lot of, but I think I'm gonna pick up a box of those. Those are really tasty sticks. I mean, it's a mild stick. So if you like really full-bodied Nicaraguan black pepper punch, full-bodied stuff, this is not for you. But if you like, real flavorful Connecticut, this is a good one. Really good one.
I kind of grew up on Nat Sherman, that cigar. It was one of the earlier cigars I smoked. When I lived in New York, I'd go to Nat Sherman. I'd get that cigar quite a bit. What happened, this is what I believe happened with that cigar over the years. It kind of disappeared for a while. And this is what I think happened, why it disappeared. Because what happened is the brand got very much sold on the internet for a while. And retailers basically couldn't compete with it. They stopped carrying it. And part of what Mike Herklotz did when he went into Nat Sherman, everyone talks about the blends he worked on, and they're great blends. But I think the harder job he had was really fixing distribution. And he had to basically flush that stuff out of the internet and reestablish those brands in the brick and mortars. I think over the last year, he's gotten to that point where he's been able to do that, and he's reintroduced. So now you're seeing the Metropolitan and a lot of more brick and mortar shops. It's not being flushed out on the internet, and that is a great line. And now the Maduro is very good too. That Connecticut, I agree with you on that Connecticut right now. And the Habano, I smoked it at the show. I really liked it. So I agree with you. I think there's been really some good stuff right now that has that's come out of Nat Sherman. But this is kind of something that's older. That's kind of, and it's predicate brand stuff too. So This is good. This is really good stuff.
Yeah, Michael Herklotz has really changed Nat Sherman and brought it into, I mean, I kind of hate to say, but brought it into, the 21st century. But he's really done so much with that, made an outstanding brand. Like the Apoca, I actually had that when we came on the show today, and that's another outstanding cigar. It was in my top 10 the year before last. I mean, that's another outstanding one that they have for Nat Sherman. Nat Sherman's line is just really on point.
Yeah, I had the Joel Sherman as my cigar of the year in 2014. One of the best cigars that they just home run. They've done a lot of good cigars. That Apoca is a cigar. It's a little bit of a misunderstood cigar, I think. If you're gonna try to compete with the Uber Boutique kind of, that's not a cigar that's gonna compete. It's more of an old school cigar, and that's what it was designed to be. Great cigar. I mean, very underrated right now.
Yeah, it's an outstanding smoke. Like I said, the Nat Sherman, I'm glad our shop owner brought those in, because that's one that, like I said, I didn't really give much thought to it until they brought them in, and now I love them. I smoke them all. Every time I come here, come back to visit, I get one every time I come.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend. Nat Sherman, definitely, like I said, they're reestablishing themselves quite well in the marketplace right now. Like I said, Mike Herklotz, he's already there, I think, 5 years. It's hard to believe that, too. I remember when he went over there, and a lot of people, he was a fixture in New York, and he was managing. He was like the GM of that Davidoff store on on Madison Avenue, and I think a lot of people just were scratching their head at that move. But he's done a great job over there too. Have you smoked the Nat Sherman Sterlings at all?
Yeah, the Sterling is the one. A lot of people here love it, but to me, I can't get into that one. It's the only one I can't get into. And see, Brian Hewitt from Stogie Review freaking loves that cigar.
I love that cigar. Yeah, I do love it too.
Yeah, it's one that it's kind of I keep trying it over and over again, thinking, what am I missing? And it's good, but it's not. I mean, I'd rather have the Metropolitan Connecticut over.
I think no doubt with that Sterling, they were trying to compete. It was kind of there. They were trying to offer an ultra premium kind of Davidoff-esque type cigar. I think. I'm not saying it was or was as good, but I think that's how they were trying to position that cigar in the market.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. So yeah, I think we're done with Stogies of the week. So Ben, I know Stogie Review, a lot of good stuff happening. I just saw the interview you guys did with Jose Blanco. So I mean, I just saw that. Very good interview. So I guess you guys are gonna be getting into Cigar of the Year. When do you guys come out with your Cigar of the Year list?
Yeah, I usually try to get mine out between Christmas and New Year. Our top 10 lists then. But I think a lot of them. I think Brian Hewitt's getting his out, and Walt will be getting theirs out probably right after the turn of the new year. So it'll be coming out very soon. I've already been compiling mine right now. This week I've been trying to concentrate on what I want to do, and we try to do it to where we do a top 10. I try not to do anything that people can't get a hold of. Like I don't do anything older or anything that's a limited release that you can't get a hold of. I don't exclude it. If it's good, I'm gonna put it in there. I'm not exclude, but I try not to do that. But I try to also pick stuff that I've reviewed as well. So there's some things, just because since I moved from Mississippi to Houston, there was like about a month I couldn't get any reviews out. So I'm trying to catch up to put stuff out that could potentially be on that top 10, so I can refer it back on there, so people can get a full blown idea of what that cigar is like. So I should be getting that out probably just after Christmas.
Awesome. I mean, Paul, so you guys all do separate lists, right?
Yeah. Well, because it's so subjective. I mean, what I like, it's hard that we can't compile one big list. It'd be impossible.
Yeah, Paul and I have the same notion, and I think probably you hit this problem too. Is being in other parts of the country, a lot of brands are still very regional. Even if they're national brands, they may have better representation in a certain area. So for example, Espinosa in the Northeast, Paul doesn't have a lot of access to Espinosa right now. I have more access to it, he's got, there are other brands up there that are just more like, he tends to have more access to Fuente, those limiteds, than I do, so he tends to have those. So we tend to do a separate list as well. It works out, we think, pretty good for us right now.
Yeah, it's the same with us. Like for instance, Warped. I can tell you for sure there'll be a Warped on my list, but I didn't really know anything about them until I got to Houston, because they weren't anywhere in my area, anywhere I go. Until I got over there, and they're everywhere, and they sell out super fast. So, they wouldn't have been on the list if I wouldn't have moved to Houston. Yeah, so you're right. Regional area, like I don't get like a lot of the limited Fuente stuff you were just talking about. So they, I just don't get that. So I can't really put that on my list because I just haven't had it. Not saying it's not great too, but I haven't had it, so I can't add it to my list.
Yeah. And the same thing with me. In recent years, I've gotten rid of the shop exclusives just because they're too limited. Not that there's bad cigars or anything, but I wanted to focus on some more accessible stuff. And I do look at distribution kind of as a tiebreaker. If something's going to make the list, if over another cigar and they're even, I'll look at distribution kind of as a tiebreaker. Now, I won't ask you to. We'll kind of save the suspense for when you unveil the list. But do you have your number one selected?
It's down to 3. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I do have. I'm unveiling mine on the countdown style, Casey Kasem style. Mine there was a big change right after IPCPR, where there was a couple of cigars that made a run and I don't want to reveal them, but there was a couple cigars that made kind of a run. I think before IPCBR, I had another cigar that was pretty firm there, and that probably has slipped possibly a little down because there's a couple of cigars that made this, and I don't want to give it away, but yeah. So I do have my number one selected, and I know that Paul will not have this as number one.
Yeah, the same happened to me. Like when I moved to Houston. When I moved to Houston, but at least two of the three came from there that I smoked a lot of when I got there. Well, actually, one of them was released after I got there. So, yeah, so it's kind of the same with me.
Awesome. Yep. So, anyway, Ben, thanks so much. I know you'll be back next week. We really appreciate it. I want to thank Jason Loyce as well. I know his connection was struggling for a while. It just happens sometimes. Just before we go, next week, Miguel Chodell of Duran Cigars on the 19th. We're going to take a break on the 26th. And then on January 2nd, we're going to have we're gonna play the Padron interview that Stace Berkland and I did in Charlotte a couple weeks ago. We'll have some discussion around that interview. There was a couple of interesting points to that interview. You'll hear George's reaction to one particular question. I'm not going to give it away, but it was a good interview as well. So and then this Friday, I probably will have another Facebook Live Stogie Geeks primetime chat as well. So and I'll talk a little more about the cigar aficionado stuff as well, so you can hear that. But Ben, thanks a lot. That concludes episode 213 for the Stogie Geek Show. We'll see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.